Hi everybody, my name is Anne-Marie from Hunky Dory. I just wanted to take a little minute just to show you our fantastic filigree frames and all the different things you can do with the wonderful laser cut frames. So what we have is a few different components that you need to make your card, and I'm going to start right from the very beginning, right from what you need to do to sort of match up your frames with your toppers and your card blank and how you put that simple card together, and then I'm going to show you a few different techniques of how to use the frames themselves as well. So our filigree frames are a little bit of a hybrid product combined with our beautiful foiled and die cut toppers that you expect from Hunky Dory, alongside our wonderful laser cut frames. So these, if we just show you on the close-up cam, you can see these are beautiful laser cut detail frames. Now these are absolutely gorgeous. If I just flip that over, you'll be able to see like the burnt sort of edges. So these are actually cut with a fantastic laser machine out in the warehouse, and they're so detailed. They're just incredible. Some of this detail you wouldn't even be able to get with dyes. They're just beautiful. They're made out of a lovely Ink Me cardstock, so you can also ink onto here, do all sorts of fabulous things, which I'm going to show you. But first of all, we're just going to start with a really simple card. So first of all, I'm going to pick out my shape, and I want to use the heart because I love the pattern that's in there, and I think the actual heart shape is really unusual. So what you'll find is you've got some little like catch points within here that you just need to snip through. Okay, so we're just going to cut our frame out first of all. So I'm just going to cut those 3 little catch points with my scissors. You could use a craft knife if you wanted to, and then I'm just going to tidy up those little edges there. Okay, so that's our actual frame. We'll pop those out of the way, and then on your topper sheets you also have a coordinating topper shape that we need to work alongside this, so you can see that they work together perfectly. And again, I'm just going to cut this out of here. Now if you prefer to use a craft knife or a trimmer to do this, you absolutely can do. I'm just going to grab my scissors. Now this is going to go behind our frame. Now some people might look at this and think, well, I don't need that bit because I just need the topper out the middle. But once you push that topper out, what you're going to do is there's a little bit of backwards and forwards in. So that frame is going to sit behind our laser cut frame, so you can see that fabulous colour throughout there. What you can also do is, if you wanted to, you can pop some mirror behind there and it gives you a completely different effect again. So you've got lots of choices as to what you can actually pop behind here. So I'm going to go with the frame, and then our topper actually sits in the middle of there. So you're actually going to use all of the components that are on the sheets. And then what you need to do is team that up with your card blank. So this card blank here, as you can see, coordinates perfectly. It's got the same florals on there and the same colours, so we know that all this is going to work together. So now we're just going to stick this together now. So my card comes pre-scored, so I just need to fold it in half, and then I'm going to pop my frame onto my card blank. So let's pop this down first of all with a little bit of tape, and I'm just going to pop this down flat onto my base card. First off, I'll just grab my pokey tool so we can get that tape. Now you could do this with foam pads, it would give you a completely different look yet again. There's all sorts of different options when it comes to our fantastic filigree frames. And then this frame I'm actually going to lift up with some foam pads, and what that will do is it will create a little bit of a shadow through that sort of laser cut effect. So we can just pop that over the top like that, and then we can add our topper onto the middle of here with a little bit of foam as well. So that's just going to sit right in the centre. It leaves a nice white border all the way around the edge there, so it looks really clean, really simple, but really effective as well. Now you do get inserts as well, which are already cut to size. I just wanted to show you what you can do with the front of the card for now. So that's your base card sort of as they come. So now for doing something a little bit fancier with our frames. So what we can do is we can ink them. So let me just grab a little bit of cardstock, and I'm just going to trim this square frame off here. Now I'm just going to pop that onto my piece of card. I'm just going to get a little bit of masking tape just to hold it down in the corners for now so it doesn't move so much. There we go. And then I'm just going to grab one of my distress inks. So I'm going to use Dusty Concord for this one, a nice deep purple, and I'm going to ink through that frame. Now don't be afraid of being a little bit rough with them. They are very delicate, but they're also a lot more robust than they look, so don't be afraid of getting in with your inks and giving them a really good sort of inking through. So all the way around the edges. And what this is almost doing two jobs in one. So what it's doing is inking our frame, but it's also going to actually ink through our frame as well. So then what we have is we have our frame that's already inked, but then we also have that design that is left on our card as well. So obviously we can use that elsewhere now. So I'll just grab my topper. We can use that as it is there, but then we can also use that with that as well. So you're getting different ways of using your fabulous frames there. And now we can also, let me grab a little bit of paper so that we don't get embossing powder everywhere, and see how wet that is. I think we'll be all right. Distress ink's one of those things that it feels dry, but it takes forever to actually dry. So I'm just using gold embossing powder. Now we do have our aircon on in here, so it's a little bit breezy, so hopefully we won't get it everywhere. Just make sure we've got plenty on there. Just flick off what we don't need, and I'll just pop this away just so that we don't, again, end up with it all over. And then we can heat this up now. So just with a heat tool, switch it on, useful. We can just heat up the frame, and you can see, I'm hoping you can see that change, and let's move it over a little bit so you can see the change in the embossing powder there. It's just magical. And then you can see that gives you a fabulous metallic frame, and that, you know, that doesn't, let me just pop a bit of white behind so you can see that a little bit better. It just gives it like a metallic finish, you know, and even though it's so detailed, that embossing powder picks up all of that detail. It doesn't make it clumpy or anything like that. It looks fabulous. So that's embossing. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to show you was how you can use it with your glitters. So do you know how I was just saying earlier about putting mirror card behind the frame or putting the topper behind the frame? I'm just going to use some actual diamond sparkles behind the frame. Now this is a double-sided adhesive sheet, so I've just cut this to size, and I'm just going to pop that onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to take the backing off here, get my trusty sheet of paper again for my glitter, and I'm going to use this really beautiful lilac shade. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on, and I'm just going to rub in all the little nooks and crannies on that adhesive so that we can get a really nice coverage with that glitter. And obviously with diamond sparkles, it's an ultra fine glitter, so what you'll find is it really does sparkle. It's almost like if you think about you know, gemstones, all the facets that they have, the more facets that a little piece of glitter has, obviously the more that it can shine. So this is super fine. I'll just pop that out of the way. I've just covered everybody and everything in glitter, which is fine. And then what we can do is add our frame onto there, and again that just gives you a completely different look of putting the glitter behind there. So I would stick that on using my foam pads, where have I put them here, but what you would also need to do is just add a little bit of pin flare or silicone glue just to pop it on here, because it will eventually just peel off with a dry adhesive like double-sided, but you can see that fabulous effect. Shall we put the topper in the middle as well? Then it looks a little bit more complete. So we can pop that in the centre there. There you go. I love that glitter technique. It's fabulous, isn't it? It's gorgeous. So there you go. There's all the different techniques there that I've shown you. Obviously there's loads more that you can have a try with. Just have a little play with all sorts of different bits and pieces that you've got at home, but don't be afraid of playing with them as well, because they really are so versatile. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.